to me, to become a student of history means to become a Catholic.
Well, that's if you want to, know a false history. Look, I've made many videos about the Catholic Church. I'm not trying to attack them. I'm an equal opportunity offender, okay? But, and this isn't at all Catholics. It's not, because I was raised Catholic. I went to Catholic school, all of that. The thing is that they're the most Pharisee, they're the Pharisee religion. The amount of stuff that Jesus says that the Vatican and the priests and none of them seem to know, like, because why didn't any of them be calling out? And all of the I've done videos about the amount of time and money and fabric that is just the whole process that's involved in the Vatican and their wardrobe and the grooming of themselves. I mean, each layer and all the different colors. Like, how could they just disregard what Jesus said? I bring it up all the time because it's so infuriating. Jesus woed the Pharisees. He said, look at them in the marketplace dressing all fancy, because then people come up and say, oh, Holy Father. Catholic Church, perfect example. But then when you see that they have this historic line of systemic child abuse, okay, that never gets better, no matter how many times they say it will, it doesn't. Why? Because Jesus told you how you will know them. You will know them because their fruits will not be good. And what are their fruits? The Catholic Church's fruits is they venerate all these saints. Rarely do they ever really focus on Jesus. It seems like they want to do everything but focus on Jesus. And then here's the kicker, okay? They want to say some Justin Martyr, okay, back from 150 AD, wrote this apologetic letter to the Roman Empire, and somehow that is the true religion. That doesn't prove a thing. That proves that some Justin Martyr came along and convinced the Roman Empire to force Catholicism, because it was a state-run religion, right there going against Jesus's word. So all of the arguments the Catholics make is BS. I was just saying, it is. So, and one of the other problems is that, and this is why people, and I'm not saying this for every Catholic, so please don't get it wrong here, but the Catholic religion is notorious, well, especially for famous people like Candace, that they will get into it because there was a lot of animosity between Catholics and Judaism. Yeah. The relationship between the Catholic Church and Jews has been marked by centuries of conflict, discrimination, and eventual reconciliation. Well, I think we can see, because of Candace Owens is a perfect example, that reconciliation is really not true. So Christianity originated within Judaism. Absolutely did. Every disciple was a Jew, right? I mean, yeah. But here's where people don't separate. There's a reason that's who Jesus went to. He, again, didn't go to the Pharisees, didn't go to the scholars, didn't go to any of these people, okay? Because all they cared about was the rituals and their fancy clothes. Look at the Catholic Church. How is that different? It's not. Same thing. And then they make all of this, they make it all about these rituals and these rules and stuff from the Old Testament. And so what ended up happening was there was this, it had to do with the Apostle Paul. Because Paul, because the Judaism was saying that the Gentiles, if you believe in Jesus and you're not a Jew, you're a Gentile. So, but Judaism was saying, no, the Gentiles have to follow exactly our strict rituals. No, you're supposed to learn from us, okay? And the fact of the matter is that you weren't getting it. Many of your scholars there, your Pharisees, the same ones Jesus was woeing over and over again that he was fed the hell up with, okay, in the New Testament. That's the reason, like, you're supposed to maybe learn a lesson from us. Again, they see it falls into this, no, we know better. Catholic Church does it, and there's sects, not all Jews, there's sects of Judaism that does it. They do. So, but the thing is the Catholics are really, the Vatican is really no different than the Judaism. Because, in the way of being Pharisees, in my opinion. Not all Judaism. You try to follow me here. I'm talking about the people that think they have to tell everyone else what to do. Yeah, so the very fact that Rome instituted a state-run religion and it was Catholic should tell you that would be against what Jesus would want. It would be, totally. But that's what they did because of Justin Martyr, some saint that the Catholic Church, of course, venerated. But yet he was bringing in a lot of pagan practices from the Greek stuff. Yeah, so that's the reason you had like the Protestant, you had all these sects that then spawned out, because it was like, no, there's too, yeah, the Church of England was a problem, but then you got Catholics there and they have too much pagan practices. And then what they say is, well, you have to ease people into it, so we let them keep some of their their pagan gods, and then we just change the names, like from whatever the Greek Roman god was, female Roman god was back in the day. They just, then turned it into, this is now Mother Mary. That's really what they did. That's the reason why they have saints. I mean, look at the Vatican. It probably is the most idol-filled area on the whole planet. Like, in every way, it screams that it's against what God would want. But somehow they get away with it. It says here, as Christianity grew, particularly after becoming the state religion in the Roman Empire, see, God would be against that. In that they do this because of the Old Testament, where God did not want them intermingling. Yeah, but God always wanted people to eventually mature to where you can live with others and be respectful, not be forcing, because that's totally against what the true Almighty God is about, not forcing it. But there was many kingdoms that made that mistake. But there, it started with Catholic Church, so already roots are not rooted where it should be, which is why the fruits that it produces are not good fruits. So then during the Middle Ages, institutional anti-Semitism intensified through discriminatory laws and the Inquisitions, and Jews faced expulsion, pogroms, and forced conversions. Yeah, worst thing. That's the reason why the Catholic Church is just, it doesn't know Jesus. The Church's teachings often perpetuated negative attitudes, including the belief in the Jewish collective guilt for the crucifixion of Jesus, known as Jewish deicide. So here, I brought this up, how the Jews, yes, the Pharisees, the leaders of the church, because they didn't have any insight, they didn't recognize their own ego. I think a lot of them knew who Jesus was, but it was a threat to them, so they did call for his death. Did they execute him physically? No, the Romans did, but everybody had a hand in it, okay? Everybody did. So I think that there should be, since it's talked about in the Bible, there should be room to be able to talk about that without people being so ridiculous that they think all of the Jews are responsible for Jesus's death. Clearly not. Anybody that has insight knows, no. There's a lot of people involved. So, but we should be able to talk about that because it is in the Bible. But then, too, you have to remember, the people Jesus went to, they were all Jews. Jesus was a Jew. So, the Catholic Church has not helped. So then, after the Holocaust, the Vatican II came, and then it changed a lot of this, okay? I would say no, it really hasn't, because, Candace Owens is a perfect example. So the people that, and here's the thing, this Justin Martyr that they like to say is the reason why the Catholic Church is real, and it doesn't mean anything, but he's a martyr from Palestine. So do you see, the Catholic Church is a great religion for Hollywood and for the true people that hate the Jews to hide in. And Jesus would say that if he was here. I really believe that. I don't doubt that at all. That's exactly what you do. Because you ignore your own fruits of your church. You ignore that. When Candace Owens wants to carry on about these disgusting people and what they worship, it's like your Vatican there has Baal up. What do you call that? Oh, it's just about history? Yeah, I don't think God would see it that way, given that it's like a huge, bigger than life statue of Baal. So please, the hypocrisy within the Catholic sector is off the charts.